Welcome to the EDM Report podcast. What's up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the EDM Report. This one is a special one because I'm going to be talking about the legend, the one and the only, Avicii. So he has an album coming out this summer, and he just released his first single, SOS with Aloe Black. I'm going to get into his album a little later and his single, but first I want to talk about my experiences with Avicii and what he meant to me music-wise. Alright, so first off, I am a huge Avicii stan. He's been one of my favorite producers ever since I discovered him as Tim Berg way back in the day. The first single I heard was his Sick Bromance single, which everyone knows, everyone loves. It's just a timeless track. It's crazy too because I liked it, I enjoyed it, but I wouldn't really appreciate it until later on in life. But then I knew him under his Avicii moniker when he released Levels, and it's funny because I didn't really hear Levels until Flowrider released his Good Feeling, and that was playing all over the internet. And it's so funny because Flowrider's best songs, he just took the dope instrumentals from EDM producers and just threw a couple raps over them. But yeah, so after Levels, he followed up with Fade Into Darkness, which today is one of my favorite songs still, and it's my favorite Avicii song. That's when I got the sense this guy's really good and I need to see this guy live. So I did what any logical fan would do, and that's buy a ticket to EDC. And I made sure I had him highlighted because I really wanted to see him. And man, he did not disappoint. His set was unreal. So that year I saw him at EDC, he played at the Circuit Ground stage, which was the big megastructure, the hangar looking stage, which was freaking sick. Pasquale really needs to bring that back. And it was right before his country EDM days. Wake Me Up had just been released, but that was about it. But yeah, I remember during that set, he just dropped all his bangers. Fade Into Darkness, Levels, Silhouettes, his collab with Nicky Romero, I Could Be the One, just everything just hit, and it was amazing. That was my second favorite set of the whole EDC, and only behind Calvin Harris, which that was his epic EDC 2014 Circuit Ground set, which is legendary, and everyone that I know talks about it like it was one of the best sets they've ever seen. And that was when we had the old Calvin Harris, the EDM Calvin Harris, where he was producing the progressive house, the festival tracks that were just legendary and still are today. But yeah, so Avicii was second, but a very close second, and I remember the videos I took on my phone of him dropping Levels and him dropping Fade Into Darkness, I frequently watched because they were just so good. And it was funny because jokingly when I showed my friends, I said that him dropping Levels and me seeing it live kind of changed my life, but in reality, it kind of did. And don't judge me for being on my phone. It was my first EDC, my first festival, so I just wanted to record everything. Now I'm better, obviously. But yeah, so why I say it kind of changed my life, because that's the first moment I can point to for me where I was at a festival, I was seeing one of my favorite DJs drop an iconic song, and in that moment, everything just hits you and you're like, wow, this is really sick. I really love doing this and going to these shows and these festivals. I loved it so much, I had to go the following year. So that first EDC was just me, my girlfriend, and one of my other friends, but he only was there for 2 days because he couldn't hang, so me and my girlfriend had to troop out that last day. So we get back and I'm telling all my friends just how great it was and we got to go next year, and I convinced them all to go next year, so we have a nice solid squad of 10 people that went the following year. So of course I'm there telling them, Avicii was sick, he killed it, I'm hyping them up, showing him the videos, telling him the Levels changed my life, all this stuff. So as the year goes on, he starts dropping his more country EDM influenced songs. Wake Me Up had been out, then he released Hey Brother, Addicted to You, and his album True had been out, and it had been gaining more and more traction over the years. So it's funny that next year when we see him, we're all kind of expecting the older stuff, the more progressive tracks, and at the time he was debuting his new album Stories and all the singles and songs that were going to be on that album. And we're all kind of at that set, kind of okay, this is good, but where's the other stuff? We didn't know because it was he was really transitioning over to that country influenced EDM style. So we all kind of had mixed reviews about his set, but obviously later on in the year we would know how big it got, and we would all enjoy the songs as we heard them more and more often. And man, I would really love to see him one more time because I was even a fan of his newer stuff, Without You, Lonely Together, his Avicii EP that he released 2 years ago now. But it's all good because I can say that I've seen the legend twice at an iconic festival like EDC, and that brings me to what I want to talk about next, and that's the new music we're getting from him and the new single we just got yesterday. For me, I liked it. I enjoyed the song. It had like a nice melody to it. The lyrics really hit you in the feels. But I saw like in the community on all the socials, people had mixed reviews about it. Now, I did see a lot of positive stuff, but there were people who were saying it's good, but it's missing this. It's good, but this. So like, I want to get into what they were talking about and my opinion on the song. And most, if not all, of the complaints, people were trying to be respectful, which you should be nothing but respectful for Avicii. He deserves all our respect. So some of the complaints that people had about it were that they wanted a more progressive style, more festival style of the song, which I understand. I get it. I'm a huge progressive house fan, so it's my favorite genre. So I agree. Some people said it was a bit generic. It was kind of boring. People said it was a little too poppy. And then people were saying that the lyrics and the instrumental were clashing, kind of like it had two different vibes going on in the same song. On my end, I did a little research of my own, just a little bit. I watched the making of SOS on YouTube, and I saw that the collaborators that finished the song were actually Christopher Fogelmark and Albin Nedler, and I probably botched their names, so yeah. And so for those that don't know, they were the collaborators on Pure Grindin', which kind of has very similar elements of SOS. So both songs kind of lack that Avicii punch, that Avicii drop that most of us are used to, and that he kind of spoiled us with like Wake Me Up, Hey Brother, and then obviously his older progressive stuff. Now, SOS does have a bigger build-up, but it is a very like methodical drop. It's not a big kind of powerful drop. I think that's what these guys were going for, his collaborators, because if you watch the making of SOS, they kind of go into more detail about it and where their headspace was at making the song. And that video is really cool because in the video it says that they kept the kind of same progression that Avicii laid out back when they first started making the song. And it's just really cool to see that the integrity of the song is still there and they kept it there. So yeah, overall in the song, like, I liked it, but I do understand the sentiment of some of the fans that it doesn't have that kind of traditional Avicii drop. But I think when you look at his collaborators and the people that made Pure Grindin', you kind of see where this drop came from and like the direction they were going. I do think it is still a good lead single, and it makes me more excited for his album that's coming out and the other singles that are going to follow. And I think the one I'm looking forward to the most is Heaven. Ever since I heard Nick Guillermo premiere it in his sets, I just have been obsessed with it, and I've been waiting for a day that we can get that song. I know he's going to have Sandra Cavazza on a song too, maybe multiple, so I'm looking forward to that too because his work on Without You was really good. But yeah, I'm just really excited for the project as a whole. I can't wait for the album to drop. I'm sure it's going to be the playlist to a lot of pre-games, a lot of kickbacks. You know, it's going to be well played throughout this summer, so I'm really looking forward to it. And with that, I'm going to wrap this episode up. If you listened all the way through, thank you. I appreciate it. Shout out to Avicii, man. We miss you. Thank you for your music and just thank you for everything.